Hi, so today we're to return to early medieval Ireland, or the end of early medieval Ireland, almost starting into the Anglo-Norman period, but because we're here at Killeshin Romanesque doorway in County Laois, just outside Carlowtown, or up the hill from Carlowtown in Castlecomer, part of the Castlecomer plateau. But Romanesque developed in Europe between the 6th and the 10th centuries AD, and it was heavily influenced by Western Roman and Byzantine architectural styles, and when it's characterised by its rounded arches, decorated arcades, and kind of high towers and really thick walls, and they're huge. A lot of the big buildings in Europe are Romanesque, and they're absolutely massive buildings. But it didn't arrive in Ireland until the 12th century. And the first accepted date for Romanesque in Ireland is Cormac's Chapel in Cashel, which was built by the King of Munster at the time, Cormac MacCarthy, and it was first built in 1127 and it was finished and consecrated in 1134, and there was a lot of abbots and clergymen and important people at that consecration apparently. But there's been further kind of other sites looked at in the area that were also churches built by Cormac MacCarthy. A list more like that in Tipperary as well, and other sites in Munster that he built, and they actually have in the ruins some Romanesque material has been found which suggests that they could have acted as a model and actually predate Cormac MacCarthy or Cormac's Chapel in Cashel. But the accepted date, as I said, is the 1134, 1127 and 1134, and when Romanesque does arrive, that one is heavily influenced by Western French, Anglo-Norman and German styles. But when the Irish stuff does take over here, it's heavily influeed by Irish art styles, Viking art styles, and some other Celtic art styles. But back to the main focus today. We're here, as I said, in Killeshin Romanesque doorway. Now this is the inside of the church, and I'm going to go out to where it's much more important and significant, and you can just have a look at the landscape there around it as you walk out. But yep, we're here. I'm going to have to walk out here now so you can get a full shot of it. We're here in Killeshin, as I said, in County Laois. Now Romanesque, which has its rounded arches, which you can clearly see here, really rounded with the hood over it, is different to Gothic, which developed in the 12th century, whereas Gothic has more pointed arches, it has flying buttresses, and then it has ribbed vaults as well in it. But Romanesque is a bit different to it, and an earlier style. But the doorway itself, as you can see, has 4 different receding arches, one going into the other. The whole church itself is built out of sandstone, and then if you go closer you can see that it has the corners and the edges of it is made of granite. Now here in Killeshin, St Dermot founded a church here in AD 545, and the patron saint of it is, and sometimes named as the founder, and on the information sign which is on the site just there as you walk in the gate, it's named as Saint Cumgan, or Saint Comgan as he's called in English, and his feast day is the 27th of February. Killeshin is one of those places that today, you know, you just drive past it. I mean, it's part of the Castlecomer plateau. You think, like, you know, what does it have? It has people and it has coal. But it's one of those places that, you know, just because it's not important today, it doesn't mean it was important in the past. And this site produced many famous saints, a lot of them from the early Irish Church, and they included Saint Aegon, who died in AD 843, and then Saint Dermot, who was abbot here until 847 AD. And then there was also a monk in the monastery. His name was Dulator Uathgaile, I think was his name. Uathghaile, I think was how you spelt it, his second name. But he translated a Latin text, the Sex Aetalitibus Mundi, which was a Latin text, and a Latin manuscript, and he translated that into Irish. But the monastery then was plundered in 1041 AD, and then it was burnt again in 1077 AD, and it doesn't seem to have picked up much since then. And then the last reference to it, or the last historical reference, was in 1082 AD. But clearly it continued in its importance because this church was built in the 12th century, you know, which is clear by its architectural style, because the Romanesque hadn't arrived in Ireland until the 12th century. But you know, maybe this is like an Irish Otzi the Iceman, you know, who threw back the age of the copper in Ireland. You know, this maybe throws back the date of Romanesque in Ireland, but controversial. But the church is 12th century, as I said, but only the west end of the nave and the east end of the chancel survive. I'll walk around there. You can see this is the chancel, sorry, the nave, where the people would have gathered. This is the side of the church that the people would have gathered in, and then that's the far end. As you can see, just coming there, that's the nave, and the other end where the priest would have stood. So as you can see, it's a fairly big church. It's fairly long and wide. But yeah, this gable, the west gable, the chancel is the main focus of this video. But I've kind of rambled on there for a while, you know, at the start of it. As I say, and then it has 4 receding arches, rounded arches. I'll walk over to this side now so you can see it. Each one is receding into the other, and each one, we'll go closer to it now, has human heads that have intertwined hair. So each arch has a human head. That one you can't really see, and there's his hair. It's intertwining, coming in onto this human head, which is intertwined with this one, and then intertwined with the last one in there. They're all fairly eroded because they're sandstone, as I said. Here's another human head, and another one, and another one. Then the whole arch has a pointed hood over the whole thing, you know, so you have the rounded pieces, and then you have a pointed hood over the whole thing, and then the keystone of it, which is just there, even has a human face head carved into it as well. Now apparently there's 2 inscriptions on the doorway. Now I've been looking at it before I did this video, and I can't come across the inscriptions, but one of them, which is on the north side of the door, which is this side, now I can't see the inscription there. Maybe if I take a video and look through it again I might come across it, but apparently one of them on this side has an inscription that was translated by Peter Harbison, and it reads up here for Diarmid, the King of Leinster, and that might refer to a Diarmid who died in 1117 AD, before this church was built, or even, as I was suggesting here, controversially, that it might be an earlier date, but anyway, no, it's probably built in the 12th century. But the other person, the other Diarmid that has been suggested that it might refer to as Diarmid McMurrough, the man who invited the Normans to Ireland. But it's also got a load of art motifs, kind of spirals, that kind of thing, very nice inscriptions all along it. Zoom down along them there, as you can see a little animal motif there, and then on all along this side as well, and even the doorway has loads of inscription and art on it. And this is said to be one of the most it's one of the most famous of the ones in Ireland, and it's also one of the most spectacular, I suppose, as well. But it's a pity, like, you know, that the sandstone has become so eroded. Even on the inside of the doorway, there's some fairly strong animal. There's an animal head there, very like that. And then even on the inside, you don't have much more. And then there's strong focuses. There's more motifs there in the doorway, and then the socket for the doorway then as well. And the chancel on the other side is a later addition, apparently, and the original window, you can see the window here, I'll go in closer to it, it was apparently it was replaced in the 16th century by this one, and apparently, for anybody who knows this kind of stuff, but this is what I was reading, so I'll just say, but this is what I read in the books that I'll put references up to in the description. But apparently this is a 16th century square 2-light oggy headed window, for anyone that means anything at all to. But it doesn't mean that much to me, because I'm not into this kind of stuff mostly. But there's, as you can see, there's a lot of graves in the area. None of them predate 1700. They're all fairly modern graves. And apparently, then, if we go back outside, there's the view of the inside of the church there. Apparently, out here there was a round tower, which was 105 feet tall, but it used to stand out here somewhere. But it was knocked in 1703 by the farmer who owned the land, because he was afraid that his cattle, it would fall on his cattle and hurt them or kill them. So I suppose it's a perfectly good reason to be destroying archaeological antiquities. But anyway, To the north of the doorway as well, you'll see it if you ever come to visit it, is this little font, lovely little small undecorated granite font, and it has a circular basin with a little central hole in it. As you can see it there, there's no water in it now, but this little socket here suggests that it might have had a lid on it as well, so or a cover on it, so that's the font as well. So that's all the archaeology with this. Then I'm just going to take a walk out here as well. I'll do another video of it some other time, but out here is, well, there's two things. First of all, there's that, which is the main archaeology, and then there's that church there, which is a later church. But this thing here, there's a school. Oh no, it's not a school, but schools are out at this time. But that's a Norman motte. I'll do another video of this another time. I'm not sure what the access rights are to that, whether you're allowed in or not. But that's a Norman motte, and this was at one time fairly important because it was actually believed that that was the motte that the Normans of Carlow built, because there was no other mottes in and around Carlow. But when they did excavations on Carlow Castle, then they actually found an earlier ringwork, so that the castle is built on the earlier motte. So this was another one, maybe still to do with Carlow Castle, but not as important as originally thought. But yeah, so that's the Romanesque in Ireland, or the Romanesque doorway in Killeshin. It's starting to rain now, but the next video I'm going to try and do is, or the next group of videos are maybe that motte, Slatey, and the Rock of Mace, and possibly Castle Ruddery, Stone Circle, in Bagstone Circle up there, and there's another motte there as well, I think, so I might do videos of them then next, but or I might do something else as well, I don't know, but hopefully I'll be travelling further afield now than just the southeast. But until the next videos, watch some of the other ones, and comment if you have any comments or suggestions, and subscribe to my channel if you have a YouTube account, and other than that, bye.